Good morning, good evening, and welcome. Today I am playing with the 48 set of soft oil pastels from Lightwish. I have not worked with any Lightwish products before, so this is my first exposure to them. And they have very kindly sent me this set and an adorable little watercolor journal, acid-free 100% cotton cold press. And I'm going to have a little play. So please bear in mind these items were gifted to me by Lightwish themselves. However, my opinions are my own, and I will share that with you. Main purpose of today is to see our color range, to see how they lay down, see how they compare to other oil pastels that I own, and to see what kind of person may like to invest in this set. I have heard some very good things about it, so I'm crossing my fingers that I'm also going to enjoy this. One of the things I do as a day job is I'm also an art teacher at the middle school level, and I do work closely with the elementary school as well. And oil pastels are a big favorite. We love them in the schools, and I kind of love them as well. I'm really getting into the whole crayon pastel revival thing that's going on right now, and I totally predict that crayons and pastels are where it's going to be for the next year or two. I think we're going to find these and love these. So the first thing I'm going to do with this particular set now is I'm going to do the magic reveal. So cracking it open. Okie dokie. So I'll probably play with this at some point, a nice watercolor journal. Oh, it does have a nice texture similar to some oil pastel paper that I do have. That I did have out to have a play with anyway. It does feel actually closer to that, which is this kind of paper here, the oil pastel pad. This is just, you know, some nice affordable paper that I play with at school with oil pastels. But actually this does resonate more to that than it does any other watercolor journal that I have. So maybe that's this will be interesting to play with. I still want to see how that will work with watercolor in a future date. But for now, let's have a nice reveal. And if at any point you are interested and you want to see the price of these at the moment, I will have a link down below in the description. And I do believe that they're coming in at today with some change under $30. And here we go. Right. Now, the first thing that I need to let you know is, yes, we have 48 colors, but there is an additional 4 whites. And that already is a big bonus. You are going to go through more white oil pastel than any of the other colors, most likely. For most people, you're going to go through way more white pastel than the others. And these are going to be just the joy to have an extra 4. You probably also, if you're doing mixed media, you might find that if there's only one color oil pastel that you're going to use as a top layer in your mixed media, it's probably going to be the white for your highlights and things. Maybe your use case may vary. So yeah, so there's actually 52 pastels included at this price. So packaging wise, it comes in this nice sturdy box. Yeah, there we go. That was a functional tapping, not an ASMR intentional thing. And these black plastic trays, which they can come out, so you can have a little selection or you can have the whole range. So with these ones, I'm probably just going to keep them in their box because I'll be able to pull out whichever color I want at any moment. And they're coming out nice and easy. They're nicely separated, so you'll know where they go back. So the first thing we need to do here is swatch them out, and let's see what we're playing with. This comprehensive set includes 48 richly pigmented oil pastels and 4 white, perfect for artists of all skill levels. Each pastel stick is made with high-quality materials, ensuring smooth and easy application on various surfaces such as paper, canvas, and wood. Highly pigmented oil pastel, which means that the colors stay vibrant and true even after extensive use. Their softness ensures that they do not crumble easily, giving you a long-lasting art supply that will accompany you through numerous projects. Whether you're working on landscapes, still life, or portraits, these oil pastels allow you to achieve stunning color gradations and blend seamlessly for a professional finish. The creamy consistency of these oil pastels make them effortless to work with, providing a buttery texture that glides smoothly across your chosen medium. The intense pigmentation ensures that your artwork will have a bold and vibrant appearance, while their light-fast properties ensure long-lasting color retention. Compact and portable packaging, making it convenient to carry around wherever inspiration strikes. Each pastel stick is individually labeled, allowing for easy identification and organization. Additionally, the durable case ensures that your oil pastels are safely stored and protected from breakage. Whether you are a professional artist, student, or hobbyist, this oil pastel set is an essential addition to your art supplies. Unleash your creativity and explore new artistic techniques with these high-quality oil pastels, bringing your imagination to life with every stroke. So there we have it. So this is the color family order that I've put together, and I will put a link below, in the description below. I'll write out these numbers in order for you so that you can follow along and rearrange them the same way if that's helpful for you, or at least a good starting point. Now, one thing I want to do with these pastels is a similar thing that I did with the Neo pastels. I did a video where I compared Neo Art, Neo Pastel, Neo Color 1, Neo Color 2, and did all the similar tests. So let's put these guys through the same testing as these. So I'm going to take myself a sheet here, and I'm going to try and match the colors that I like to use. So more of a cyan-y color, a magenta color, which I think would be this one, and a nice bright yellow. Okay, let's try with these three. So first thing we're looking at is smudgeability, and these are super soft. So let's have a comparison here. I'm going to take a bit of piece of foam that I have. Okay. So we have some very good smudgeability with these pastels. That's good. Then I'm going to try blending two colors together. So we start that side. Okay, so you can see how it starts to, the first layer was so thick that the second layer skipped over the top. But again, we can take our, whatever we want to use for blending. So they will blend quite nicely. I'm going to go on top with another layer though. There we go. So we can mix colors on the page. They will work with solvents, I'm sure, because they always do. But let me take a little test of that for you. In here, I just have some blending solution for color pencils in an old piece of kitchen sponge. And that's what I do with that. And I take a little stump So let's do a comparison where we use a little bit of blending solution. This could be any of your preferred solvents for blending. Okay, so that will be nice for gradient work. That'd be nice for blending. You can do that. Now let's try some layerability to see about translucency, etc. And I'm going to zoom you in a bit more so you can get a front row seat. Okay, so just layering it on top, we can see how they start to smush together. So it's not going to, what do I want to say here? It's definitely going to push it around a lot. Again, that would be a standard quality of oil pastels, but especially as they are so soft, they're easy to wipe up, as you can see. So you just want a piece of kitchen roll or foam to give them a little cleanup. That's fine. Let me grab one of the whites. We can see how opaque the white is when we go on top. Okay. So that is super opaque. And in fact, looking at the Neo Pastel, I would say that has definitely thicker, more opaque coverage. Probably appears more opaque because it's laying down more product. There we go. So they are incredibly opaque, actually, even though some of them on the labels, and I haven't really gone through this yet, but on the labels, we have their lightfast rating in stars, and then we have either a solid square, which usually corresponds to it being opaque, or if the square has is cut in half with the triangle here, that means that it has got some translucency. We also have pigment numbers on these, color names and numbers. So this is turning out to be quite a nice, well thought out set of pastels, actually. But even on the white, so the white is claiming to be partially translucent at least. And quite clearly we can see that it's nice and opaque. We're looking at these on the gray. I would say we've got some translucency maybe on one like this. Yeah. So this one is an empty square. So this one means that it's definitely a translucent color. So you can check for that on the actual pastel packet itself on the sleeve. So you have yeah, so it's easy for you to identify. But let's have a look. Yeah, opaque, partially, and then this one was supposed to be translucent as well. And I guess we can see a bit more black creeping through on the yellow. So yeah, but they're coming out really nice. Very messy. If you can see, I don't know if you can, but my table is covered in oil pastel right now. Okay, so let's do another test now where I'm going to go on top with some pencil. Now, what you would normally do, sorry, other way around first. I'm going to do, let's see. I'm going to put some pastel down and I'm going to do the pencil check two ways. We're going to use Prism colors for this. Let me find it. There we go. Okay. If I just put some Prismacolor pencil down, this could also be a luminance or any pencil really, because these guys are not going to have any problem going on top, I don't expect. So there we go. So we have very good coverage on top of pencils, which is a nice application, nice way to use these. Now this is where we're going to find, if we try to go on top of the oil pastel with a pencil. There we go. To an extent you can. You're not going to have the excellent opaqueness from the pencil on top, but you definitely can get some details. Another thing people like to do with the pencil work, let's say you're filling in a shape and you're struggling with the pastel to get a nice clean edge. You can take one of your pencils and try to tidy up that edge. Okay, so that's a way you can get a nice clean edge. So that is a compatible way of doing things. Okay, so let's try just to see. So I did this test with the other one where I just wanted to see if they'll blend into pencil. This was more for the Neo Art pastels. But we'll see how we get on. You see, this is not a very clean art style. Okay, so that's how that's looking. So it's looking like it's going to be more of just layering on top rather than actual blending in too much. Although it has picked it up. It has actually picked up the pencil. So yes, you can. You can actually do some pencil work underneath if you wanted to, and then blend into it. And I guess it kind of acts a little bit like a solvent. But whether or not that's a good use of product, not too sure. But if you're interested, that's an option. Okay, let me do a little size comparison for you with wherever they are hiding. So comparing with the Neo Pastels, size-wise. So they're a little bit longer and they are definitely wider in diameter. So you are definitely getting a lot more product with Lightwishes. So this would be more in the price range as a competitor, but the Pental Arts oil pastels, this is the 50 set. And so I want you to see how these compare in size, because these guys, when you buy them like this, are teeny weeny. Okay, so the Pentel oil pastels are quite a bit shorter and still smaller in diameter. So Lightwish are giving us quite a bit of product in each of these pastels. And the fact that they give you 4 of these, it's worth having these just to keep a stock of the white, which does have its highest lightfast rating. And even though it's not claiming to be super opaque, because you get so much down of it, it is definitely turning out to be that way. And just before I put the Pentels away, I just wanted to compare the softness, because I believe these are going to be firmer. Yeah, they are. So the Pentel oil pastels are much harder. Yeah, the Pentel are much harder than these. So these are going to be right up there in the softness. If you had to put these, you know, in the hard to soft range, they're definitely in the soft. And with that in mind, they would make nice companions. If you're looking at something affordable and you want to get a nice variety of oil pastels, you can make these play with your Pentel. So then you have your soft ones for your top layers and the harder ones for the bottom layers. And I do believe that Lindsay the Frugal Crafter, absolute saint she is about to come out with an oil pastel course online on her Teachable School, and she is recommending this set and the Pentel for all of the projects she's planning on there. So if she says that they should play really nicely, and that's a really good, nice starter way to get into oil pastels, then you betcha I'm going to be saying the same thing. Couple of techniques then before we finish this first look, and then I can go ahead and start making some art. Is one option we have when we're using oil pastels is sgraffito, and that is where I'm going to layer 2 colors on top and then take a scratching tool. So here's some ballpoint tools that I have. They got styluses on one end, but they also have a silicone blending tool on the other end. And I can scratch back into the top layer to reveal the color that went into the tooth of the paper underneath. So that's worked really nice there. And then another way you can use oil pastels is an impasto. And that's going to work really well with these ones because of them being so soft. And you essentially take your product and using any kind of palette knife or makeshift tool that you like, you can press it in and use it on more of a textured approach. So if you think about, I don't know if you've seen Van Gogh's paintings in real life. Now, he was obviously was an oil painter, but it's not until you see his paintings you realize how much texture is actually in the paint through his work. So you can see how you could build up layers of application with this. So yeah, you can do all of your textures in that, but then you can also do finer details using the same stylus tool from before, where you take such a tiny little bit and you can apply it to your artwork like so. Fine details are always going to be a little bit problematic with oil pastels, but combine them with your pencils, I think, is going to be the way to do it, unless you're doing just the dots like this. Now, with the silicone tools, you can do your blending like this as well. Easy to wipe off because it's just silicone. Okay, so that has been useful for me to get to grips with how these are feeling, and they're definitely super soft and they're going to disappear if I were to be heavy-handed with these and just slap them down. I'm going to go away and make some artwork with this and see how I get along. So I'll probably be back with a separate video of something that I make with these. But yeah, please let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you in the next video.